Alright, what's up everybody? It's your boy Nick Met2 here bringing you a very special video. This will be a two-part, two-in-one, if you will, type of video. It will be tonight's Impact review, and also it will be my thoughts and views on TNA moving forward, because I actually attended tonight's lockdown show, and the episode last week that aired. It was a double taping, and I will get into that. But I was in attendance for both shows, so let's go down the list. TNA Lockdown started off with the TNA Tag Team titles on the line. It was the Hardys against Abyss and James Storm. It was a fun opening match. It was good action, solid back and forth, good tag team action, a lot of double moves and whatnot. I left TNA for a while, and I haven't really viewed them for a while, so I don't know the two guys in James Wyatt, James Storm stable, but one of the guys, they tried to interfere with the match. He came down, and Matt Hardy handcuffed him to the rail. The finish of the match, Jeff Hardy was going up to one side of the cage, and the other dude, the one that's not handcuffed, he spit blue mist into Jeff Hardy's eyes, a la to Jerry, and James Storm hit the blinded Jeff Hardy with last call, so they pick up the victory and retain the tag titles. The main thing of this match that everybody has been hyped up for a while now came after. It was the beatdown. Matt Hardy was pulled out and spine busted through a table outside and leaving Jeff 3-on-1 with the guy that was handcuffed. They broke him free. James Storm and Abyss. The guy that was handcuffed tried to frog splash Jeff, but he moved. And that led up to Jeff Hardy somehow being on top of the cage, and James Storm hit him with the cowbell. He takes one of the nastier bumps. This shit sounded so crazy in person. I thought nigga's spine was broke or some shit like that. And where I was sitting, because I was sitting like maybe 5 rows away from the ring, like you see this nigga, and I was like, oh, I ain't, like, damn. But yeah, that was a cool bump. To hope Jeff Hardy was okay. Next up, we have an MVP promo, and if you can hear it in the back, there was what. Me and my friend started. I went with 2 of my friends. We started the what chant, so we made it on air today. Angle interferes with the promo. You know, it's a classic faction versus faction promo. I don't really need to get down into it. Then it's a big brawl. Somehow Gunner gets his arm slung up on the gate to the steel cage, and Samoa Joe hits him with the chair, so it leads to a little injury angle for tonight for Gunner. Next up, we have Awesome Kong taking on Havoc, which is a pretty cool match. They started brawling outside of the ring. The storytelling was pretty good. Something I found out today that I didn't know back then. Havoc's grandmother died on the day of the taping, so she wasn't really all the way there. I wish this match had more time though. Awesome Kong beat Havoc with a splash, so maybe they're letting Havoc, because I don't think she was on the UK tour. They let Havoc get herself together, and Awesome Kong and Havoc maybe be a 3-part series. Maybe Havoc wins and we get winner takes all, and that's an anniversary, some shit like that. Next up, you have Bobby Roode taking on Eric Young. Solid match, a very stiff match. I love the elbow from Eric Young when he jumped off. Bobby Roode made his promise come true. He said he will bleed. Eric Young was busted open, haven't seen blood in the wrestling promotion for forever. But one thing I felt about this match, and that's going to lead to my other point in how I view the company and what I do and don't like, felt they were holding back. Like TNA, when it was coming up, they were based off of can't miss matches. And I thought somebody like a Rude or Eric Young would give you that real 4-star match, especially in the lockdown, but we didn't get it. It was an alright match overall. You had Eric Young signaling MVP for a chair, so he was hitting them. Rude wins with the Rude bomb onto a chair on Eric Young. Eric Young has gone to the Devon school of selling with the. Even in the beginning of the match, he gets hit with his very first. Oh, somebody texted. He gets hit with the opening the match, he gets hit with one clothesline. And I was like, what the fuck is this nigga doing? Next up, Kurt Angle said he will find Lashley to recruit. So that gives us something for later. Next up, it is Tyrus taking on Mandrews and Rockstar Spud in a 2-on-1 lockdown matchup. As I stated previously, I have gone away from TNA for a while. Like, I haven't really watched. I forgot what TNA Impact. I really just like I can't do this shit no more because that was basically when the Spike deal was almost up and the company didn't know what they're doing. So I was like, if they don't know what they're doing, I'm not watching it. So but I do follow the dirt sheets, and Rockstar Spud as somebody that I like. Is a name I'm familiar with and whatnot. He really proved himself to me today. He's a good character. TNA from the two shows they trying to get him over. I don't really see him as a major player, but it's like a piece. You need more pieces, especially in the wrestling promotion. You need pieces of the puzzle. So I see him as a piece. He had a beautiful senton dive off the cage that brought me out of my seat. That shit was fantastic, and I was seated like right there. So where Tyrus was, but it was like standing, I was like almost right there. So it was just a beauty seeing him dive off. I can still see it now on my mind. That was a cool spot. But Tyrus wins with the oh my god type spike on Rockstar Spud. EC3 tries to get the Clippers out saying a scalping time, but Jeremy Borash cuts the cord and they start running around like a Scooby-Doo episode. Hopefully this is the last time Jeremy Borash is involved in a wrestling segment. Just not his thing, just stick to announcing. Next up, and then you have the main event of the night, Team Angle taking on the Beatdown Clan. Gunner made it into the match. He was the first one. The first participant was King and Gunner. Second one that came out was Low Key and Austin Aries. Third from respective teams was Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle. And the fourth was MVP. So they try to play on the whole it's 4-on-3 type ordeal. They was just getting beat down, and Bobby Lashley comes out. His little hat, little jacket, like he tells MVP, let's do this, and then he just holds him and he suplexes him. And it was overall a fun match. But the finish of the match, Kurt Angle, Gunner, and Austin Aries all have everybody in the BWC in their respective submissions except for MVP, who gets speared by Lashley, and it's 1, 2, 3. Overall, a solid night of Impact Wrestling. I will give the Lockdown free for view version of Lockdown a 5.5. It was pretty solid. It didn't blow me away. It wasn't really no can't miss match. And this goes into my second part of the video. As I stated before, I attended said show Lockdown and the last week's episode of Destination Impact. It was a double taping. Overall, the crowd, we were very hot, and this is something that TNA I wish they wouldn't have done. We basically used all our energy for the show that aired last week because it was double tapings. They taped that show, then they taped Lockdown. And if you can tell on Lockdown tonight, the crowd, we barely said a word. We was fucking tired. And there was a lot of things. We saw the same people the whole night. There was really nobody. And even when the Kurt Angle, they carried up the mystery opponent, teammate, I was just praying to God, like, yo, just something exciting. This is the last night at NYC for them. I was hoping Ricardo be like, hello, Alberto, niggas gonna start crazy. I was hoping they could have got Alberto Del Rio to fill that spot in, just to give us something to pop for. But as you can tell, we were really dunned out after that. We've been watching wrestling for about 4 hours, and we saw the same people. I was really mad I couldn't see the Wolves tonight. So if you want to and on TNA they threw their SmackDown piping into it. It was dead. That arena was dead for Lockdown. Don't trust me, I was dead. That arena was dead. I like TNA on Destination America. I think that's a good spot for them. Um, I think that's gonna do wonders for that company. Hmm. But yeah, I think That's Nation is a good spot for TNA. They're starting to build them up more. I like how they're giving TNA a rerun on Saturdays, and I don't think the rerun is a good idea. The the um, the time slot right before the new episode of Impact, because it Impact out. I wish they would save that rerun for the weekdays on Thursday so somebody could watch that and be ready for the new show on Friday. That's just my thoughts and opinions because you can't really watch. If they had like two episodes of Raw back to back, that's 6 hours. You're not gonna do that. And that's 4 hours of TNA back to back. You can't do it. So, I'm wishing TNA needs to start getting some fresh talent back in. I know they cost cutting and stuff, but TNA really needs to start bringing some fresh talent from the indies. It doesn't have to be main level guys, but they need some talent that can work and put on some great matches. And that's another thing. This was my first TNA event, and I was let down because it really wasn't no big, um, great match. I think the best match of that whole double taping would have to be the Jeff Hardy and Abyss Monsters Ball match. And the cool thing about it was the side that they came in from when it was brawling, like for the opening part when it was coming through the crowd, I was right there. I was literally like 3 feet away from them brawling. So, and I think you could see me on TV. I had the same Zane shirt because I saw myself. I was like in the back, like in the corner of the shot. But TNA needs to start putting on. I'm not saying they need more good matches, more great matches, especially New York City. It wasn't really that. It wasn't really like matches like you was like this is awesome. Um, hmm, can I think? What I kind of think? I think the double tapings hurt TNA. I know they, like I said, I know they're cost cutting right now, but the double tapings hurt because it's a double edged sword. Crowds get tired, and wrestlers basically half acid for the night because they have to save energy for the next show, which is in 45 minutes. And crowd, I'm pretty sure if TNA Lockdown was just TNA Lockdown that night, that card would have been much more epic had it been them wrestling one match one night. Um but yeah, I think the future of TNA can be decent and good. They just need to do a couple more things. Oh, and one thing about TNA I always love how they shot TNA. I love the cameras. I love the realistic angles, like the one today where Lashley is coming out of a room in the hallway and Kurt Angle catches up to him. I love those type of segments. Those segments are good, especially for and TNA. They need to get in touch with the indie feel. A lot of people would like to see a mainstream indie type show with great matches, basic storyline, nothing too far fetched, nothing that you ran over my grandma's cat back in 50 like 10 years ago and I'm coming for you now, like nothing like that. One thing I do hate about TNA and something I don't know why they did it this year because I saw when they put Dixie Carter through the table that was at the same venue I was at this year. Why the fuck were we blacked out? Like that is such a eyesore when I was watching it today. Just they blacked out everybody but the first row. Why wouldn't you in the crowd? It was a sold out show. So I guess because I think the Thursday night bombed because that was like one of the worst. Like because it was like you out, but you got to go work on Friday. It wasn't like Wednesday was like the first show on the new network. So I knew Thursday was going to take a hit, but Friday was a packed house. I don't understand why they didn't dim though. I mean, brighten the lights because that dark shit is it was giving me a headache. But yeah, that's my thoughts and view on TNA. It was a solid show tonight for TNA Lockdown. Those are my thoughts and views on TNA getting back. I have a few of them going forward, but yeah, overall good show. And one thing I noticed today, because I was laughing in my head, I watched 8 hours of wrestling this week, and I've never really watched 8 hours of wrestling. I've come close with a Raw and then a pay-per-view, but I watched Raw this week, NXT, so that's 4 hours, SmackDown, and now TNA Impact. So that was 8 hours of wrestling this week. Wrestling is starting to become more mainstream again. So it's your boy Nick Met 2. TNA gave a solid effort. I might review next week because I heard the UK show was good. So I might do. So check out my TNA review next week. But this is your boy Nick Met 2. I'm giving tonight's episode of TNA Lockdown free for review a 5.5 out of 10. Like, comment, subscribe.